Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Welcome back. We're broadcasting remote from Lyon Air Museum. This is one of the greatest finds here in Orange County, right on the west side of John Wayne Airport. It's a terrific tribute to the greatest generation in aviation from World War II through the Korean conflict. Mike, people have to come down here and check this out.
Oh, yeah. These planes are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, I think the General and his son are going to let us take one of them out after the broadcast, right?
Keep asking, because I want to be up in one of these. All the planes that are here at the museum, they're all flying. They're exercised. I don't know how often, but they all are taken out and exercised. And we're right behind the fuddy-duddy, a B-17 World War II airplane. I think I understand there's only 12 remaining B-17s still flying in the world. And we have one right here at Lyon Air Museum. We want you to give us a shout. This segment brought to you by Title 365. With any questions, you can reach us direct by calling 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or you can submit your questions or comments on our website, nelsonradio.com.
Nelson, I am so excited to have on the show Bill H. He is the Chief Executive Officer of William Lyon Homes. And for those of us that don't know, William Lyon Homes was actually founded in 1954 by his father, General William Lyon, who we're going to be talking to in a little bit. Their combined companies have produced more than 100,000 residential units spanning a history of more than 55 years.
That's something.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's unbelievable.
But, Bill, thanks for being on the show. Glad to have you here.
Happy to be here.
And this is a great area that we've got in the museum here with all these wonderful planes. But let me direct you away from the planes for a second and talk to you about a place that I have been to many, many times, and that is Pretend City.
Oh, great.
Tell me about your involvement with Pretend City.
I got involved with Pretend City Children's Museum. It's probably been, I think, about 8 years ago now. And it was right after my daughter was born, and I was asked to join the board and have served on the board this whole time and chaired the board for about 3 years. But we're down in Irvine, just off Hubble Road, and it's really a child-sized city that's designed to help kids explore and learn and really to build better brains by giving them the chance to play in the ways that help children develop their mind and become better citizens when they grow up.
Now, Bill, for those of us that haven't had the opportunity to be there, and like I said, I hope it's okay because I go and play along with the kids because it's the only Pretend City I can really enjoy in my life. But describe for our listeners exactly the layout of Pretend City and why it's so much fun for kids.
Sure. Well, it's a child-sized city. It in a lot of ways resembles many of Orange County's landmarks. There's a marina area with some water play that the kids can do, some fountains and sailboats and things, and a really neat mural that sort of reflects the peninsula and Balboa. There's a little main street with a working street signal and a crosswalk signal, and art studio looks vaguely familiar to the Laguna Art Institute. There's a supermarket, there's a library, there's a post office, there's a town square, looks a little bit like Orange maybe. There's a restaurant, there's a farm.
No courthouse.
No, there's no courthouse, but there is a very popular sort of emergency services with police and fire and dispatch, and it's really fun. I think the first time I took my daughter there was right after it opened, and she's about 5 years old. And she wanted to go into the supermarket. Supermarkets are very popular in children's museums because the kids just love to be able to load up the basket and pretend to be, mom or dad. And so she's loading up all the pretend, vegetables and fruits and everything. And so I was kind of watching her. I was watching the other kids at the register pretending they were paying and things. And so I said, so now what are you going to do? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, how are you going to pay for all the stuff you're buying? And she said, well, you're going to pay for it. And I said, no, my money doesn't work here. And so she said, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, well, you got to go ask for a job. And so she went and talked to one of the staff, and they put her to work, and all the kids get a little time card when they check in, and you can get stamped in different in all the different areas with a different job. And so she stocked shelves for a little while, and then they stamped her card, and then you can take your card over to the ATM and put that in the ATM, and it'll spit out some money, and so then you can buy your groceries. And so that's one of the things to trying to educate kids on the systems and how life kind of interrelates, which I think as adults we take for granted, but there's a phone system, a money system, postal system, and food obviously can move from the farm to the grocery store to the house to the restaurant and back, and so all those sort of interconnections that help kids understand how the world works are really important.
Well, and that's good because my kids say to me, Dad, why do you go to work every day? All you need is that plastic card for the ATM machine.
I'm going to be applying for a job right after this broadcast.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to start working at Pretend City. Hey, there's another thing that you're actively involved in, and it's wonderful. And actually, when working at the courthouse and at the DA's office, I oftentimes would drive right past it and sometimes go into it, and that's the Bowers Museum, just an amazing museum with all sorts of different exhibits from all around the world. Tell us how you got involved and came to become on the board of directors of the Bowers Museum.
Well, I was fortunate enough. I had talked to Don Kennedy, who unfortunately has passed away recently, but about a gift for Pretend City, and the Kennedy Family Foundation actually named the library there at Pretend City. But he asked me to join the board at Bowers, and I was sad to say I'd never actually been to the Bowers in my whole life, living in Orange County, and was really surprised and impressed at what a jewel it is. To be right here in Orange County and really a place that attracts really world-class exhibits of, art and culture from everywhere. And I've been very fortunate to be involved, a number of great people on the board. And I feel a little, I guess, like a fish out of water there. I'm not a cultural expert, but it's been very educational for me and given me a lot of exposure to things, and even took a trip to China with them that I wouldn't have probably ever done otherwise. So
wonderful. You learn things that your parents never felt like teaching you. Is that what you're saying?
Just a broader sense, particularly for some of the exhibits they've had, just been amazing.
Hey, let me switch gears here as we close out this segment, and I just wanted I was fascinated at one of your passions, which is auto racing, the vintage cars, and some of the historic races that you're involved with. Give us a peek behind the curtain with that.
Well, I think I traced that back. I was about 13 years old. My father bought the last of the Harris collection that was being sold in Reno, Nevada, and there was a 1927 Type 35 Bugatti as part of that group of cars, and we kept some of the cars, including that one, and we sold others. And I was really fortunate to have exposure to a lot of really unique and beautiful automobiles as a kid, but we were up there viewing all the cars, and for whatever reason this Bugatti was off in a shop in pieces being put back together, and I asked him, well, what happened? Were you restoring it, or why was the car all apart? Because every car we have is either being restored or being fixed, or there was always a reason. And they said, no, it was raced a couple months ago, and so they were going back through the car. And so somewhere that put a bug in my head that, well, that's kind of neat that somebody would go still race these things. And I think it's similar to my dad's feeling about all the planes in here being able to fly. Is it's one thing to, look at an object that's beautiful and appreciate it for the design and the form of it, but like all these planes, they were meant to be flown, and they were designed for a purpose. So to really be a part of doing things that you're getting those objects back into their element, I think is what's attracted me to it.
Thank you for being with us. That's Bill Lyon, the CEO of William Lyon Homes. I'm with my guest host, Mike Fell, the law office of Michael L. Fell right here in Orange County. And this segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, Worry-Free, and On-Time Limousine Transportation Services worldwide. If you need a limo, text the word limo to 313131. You can reach out direct to us at 888-888-2136. Stay tuned. We have Coach's Corner coming up with General William Lyon. We'll be right back.